Hello. It's been a while. They're the villains. I actually didn't know they were there already. It's a little spooky. Guys, we can be friends, right? Just because you have your guns aimed at me, this doesn't have to get violent. But that was just a demonstration of my power. Oh, alright, it's on. Oh. It has, in fact, been a while since the last video. And honestly, that was just me being lazy, if I'm being honest. But I got on for a bit today. Voluntary exile. Where's my bad omen bottle? I got on today and played Minecraft for about an hour on this world. Maybe, honestly, it's been maybe like 2 hours already. I haven't done much significantly in this world. You may notice I've bred the cows, and you may notice there's a surprising lack of trees and a surprising lack of leaf litter on the ground. That's about all I did. I mined a bit. I did a little bit of mining off camera. As you can see here, I have a bunch of iron, got a bunch more diamonds. I got a little bit more redstone as well. I mainly just mined leaf litter. I put down a couple more furnaces because I wanted to, one, get a lot of XP because eventually I'm going to enchant. But two, I wanted to make a lot of stone. So in this chest I had a lot of cobblestone before, and I smelted a bunch into smooth stone and a bunch into regular stone. All so I can, you know, build with it later. Sorry, I had to burp just now, so I muted my mic. Yeah. I was also thinking, what if I live streamed this? Would that be something we were into? I don't know, you let me know. If I live stream, would you watch it? I kind of experimented the other day. I played Minecraft on a live stream, not on this world, just on a brand new world, and I was curious if anyone would pop in. No one did, except my friend, who I guess still has notifications on. Shocked by that. What I wanted to do today was a bit more grinding. Just, not like, not in like a weird way. Sorry, I came up with a very immature joke in my head. Do you want to hear it? Alright. So when I was like, I want to do some grinding, I was like, not in a like Pride Month kind of way. I thought that was funny. Yeah, so I see this hill as kind of an obstacle. And while I definitely am not going to show on camera me just mining this entire hill, because I also don't think I really want to do that, there's a turtle over here. And that's what I noticed. You may notice also a huge line of sugarcane. There's a turtle over here. And I wouldn't mind, like, you know, having a big turtle farm. Get a bunch of scoots, get a turtle helmet. Like, I wouldn't mind that. So, I think that'd be cool. I realized as well, you can make saddles out of leather. And so I also wouldn't mind riding around on these guys. But, oh, I also kind of want to fill this up. I kind of want to make this water. I'm going to actually start on that right now. I'm going to go ahead and fill that up with water. Because I like the idea of... Oh, am I going to do it here too? Oh, there's a bunch of trees over there. We'll see how far we get. I like the idea of just having a lot of water. Because water looks nice, and it fills up a lot of space. Which basically means easy... I guess you'd call it building. Here's the thing with water in Minecraft. If you want to get like, I don't know how to say, like good water, you gotta go layer by layer like this. That way every single bit of the water is a source block. This is not something they teach you in school when they're teaching how to play Minecraft. They don't teach how to play Minecraft. Wait, did I skip a layer already? Oh no, just that one. I just misplaced that one. In Minecraft Academy, they don't teach you that if you want to create an artificial ocean, you have to fill in layer by layer, but you do. Because then is the only way that you actually don't get just like flowing water. Because if the entire thing is just like a layer on top, then technically the entire thing is just flowing water and you just flow to the bottom. It's not like an actual ocean. Or like here you'll notice the water isn't flowing. It's not that deep, but the water isn't flowing, so I don't actually fall down. I don't sink that quickly. But if you go right here, this water is flowing and I actually move. I'm rejecting the movement. You know? So I actually like sink. It's a little thing, but it's a good thing. You want to make sure that your water actually is being placed such that you get the same result as the ocean. Because Minecraft Ocean is all source blocks. How was your week? I think it's been like 10 days since I uploaded a video. How was your week? How was your time? Is it summer? Are you in school? Are you out of school? Have you been out of school for a long time and I don't know. Is it just normal for you because you're not in school, so summer doesn't actually mean much to you? For me, this is probably like my last summer before I graduate college with my undergraduate. So this is like kind of my last summer, which I'm not super bummed about. I thought I'd be like, no, the end of my whatever. But I didn't really spend last summer doing many summer things. Last summer I spent mainly in summer school. I was doing a bunch of classes over summer. Because I've never really enjoyed summer all that much my entire life. I kind of have always been sort of bored by it. You know, it's a break from school, but I like school. And I've always liked school. I've always just enjoyed that I get to, especially like elementary school and stuff like that. Like, I've always enjoyed the ability to go and like see my friends every single day. Where is this water coming from? Oh, weird. That was never something I took for granted, was the ability to just see my friends every day. I really liked that. And then when summer comes around, you know, I have a hard time initiating stuff. Initiating like conversations or hangout sessions, especially as a kid. Like, I didn't know how to hang out with my friends. Like, I knew like my parents would have to like drive me to their house or whatever, but I didn't know how to like ask them. And I didn't, ooh, that's a lot of water. And I didn't know like how to ask my parents to get me to drive them. I was kind of scared, if I'm being honest. I didn't want to like do something wrong. It's a lot of similarities to like why I sometimes get stuck in indecision nowadays. It's just I don't want to do it wrong. But when no one like tells you how to, you know, have fun with your friends, I kind of just chose not to, because I was like, oh, if no one taught me, I guess I won't. It really wasn't until like high school that I was actively hanging out with friends like outside of school. And it wasn't even that much, if I'm being honest. It was just enough that like my parents would kind of get off my back for being like an introvert. Doesn't that kind of suck? If you're introverted, I would bet money. I wouldn't bet money because I'm not irresponsible, but I would bet money that you've probably been like, people probably look at you a little different. They think you're probably kind of weird because you prefer to not, you know, sometimes you enjoy your own company more than others. Sometimes you enjoy just sitting in your room, watching a movie by yourself or watching YouTube by yourself, or maybe that's what you're doing right now. Maybe you're on YouTube by yourself in the dark, in your bed, all comfy. Oh, speaking of which, I was planning on calling this video something like drink a glass of water while you watch this video or something. I mean it. Go get a cup of water. I don't care how comfy you are in bed. And you're probably gonna, you know, no. I know you're like, but I am comfy. Oh, but I did drink water. I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were a savant of health. I didn't realize you were the most healthy person on the planet. Sorry, I didn't realize that you just didn't need water. Oh, tough guy over here. Go drink some water. Now. I'm serious. Like, you're still laying in bed. I know you're still laying in bed, or you're still in your desk. Like, I can legit see you. By the way, I did install cameras in your house since the last video I recorded. So, like, I know you're not getting water right now. And, you know, to those, I do also see you over there. You did get water. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But I also see you over there on the left. You didn't get water yet. Again, look at all this water. Look at all this water I filled up. All I need you to do is scoop up a glass, a bucket, if you will. Get a nice little bucket of water, drink it up. I promise you, it's good for you. Also, I found out you can break those. I was trying to keep these firefly bushes for a long time, and then I realized, watch this, I realized you could bone meal them. Which is pretty freaking hype, because I like these bushes. They're pretty cool. And so I want a bunch of fireflies running around. Isn't that freaking sweet? What song is this? Broken Clocks. Okay, I was curious. I put this little thing. I found out that you could do that when you pause the game. You can figure out what song is playing. Broken Clocks. Because I like this one. I'm not saying you gotta drink all the water in one go. You definitely could. You know, I'm not against that, but like, just take a cup of water, bring it to bed. Bring it to your bed, bring it to your desk, bring it to wherever you are. Just sip on it. I'll remind you. You know, you might forget to take a sip every now and then. I promise. It's not going to disrupt your relaxation. You know, if you're in bed and you're kind of cozy, reaching over to grab a glass is not going to disrupt your relaxation because it's a good thing. And when you do good things, you feel good. Am I wrong or am I right? I'm right. Oh, that's freaking sweet. I'm planting these bushes everywhere now because that is so cool. So yeah, don't worry. I'll remind you, you know, throughout the video, I'll just take a sip of water, you know. You deserve it. Think about everything you've done in your entire life. You deserve a sip of water every now and then. And you deserve someone to remind you that you deserve a sip of water. Sorry if this water sound is getting repetitive. I'm realizing that, like, might get a little annoying after some time. Try and slow it down a little bit so it's a little less annoying. Yeah, you know, I'll remind you. I'll keep you on your toes. And if you ever get thirsty, you know, you don't need my permission. You can take a sip of water anytime you want. But when I tell you to take a sip of water, you better take a sip of water. Okay, glad we're on the same page. Glad you got your water. You know, I would have preferred that you get like a bigger cup, but you know, size doesn't matter. Yeah. What was I talking about? I was talking about summer or something, right? How was your summer? How, again, is it kind of meh? Do you really care about summer? Are you now like going to the beach constantly because it's summer and you gotta make the most of it? I went to the beach again recently, and man, it was just so nice. Like, sometimes I forget, like, the beach is really like that guy, if you will. Like, especially because I live next to really close to a beach, and so I just go. It's like a 15-minute drive, and I'm free parking, like nice water. It's cold water, don't get me wrong, but you get used to it. Especially me, I'm a little bit fat. I like them big. I like them chunky. I'm a little bit big. So, with my, what do you call it? My armor. I can go into the water and I can get pretty acclimatized to the temperature pretty quickly. This looks like I need some dirt. Also, you may hear some music behind my voice. I'm gonna try and keep the game volume a little bit louder in this video because my brother is playing some loud music right now. This is shockingly, I'm recording this video at not 3 a.m. I'm recording it at 2 p.m. So it's actually like a normal time for me to be recording. And while I would prefer to record at 3 a.m. just for noise purposes, I do need to fix my sleep schedule, so I guess I don't need to. I'm bargaining. I don't need to, but I would like to. Also, after this, I plan to go for a run. I haven't been for a run in a little while. I've been kind of down in the dumps and kind of unable to convince myself to go do it, but today's the day. And this is why I'm talking about water. And this is kind of like why I'm recording this video at this time of the day. Have you ever drank water and then immediately went on a run? And then like your side hurts and all this stuff, you feel a little bloated and all this, like it kind of is really uncomfortable. I was really in the mood. I was in the motivated mood of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go drink some water. I'm gonna go for a run. It's gonna be great. But then I remembered how sore I get when I drink water immediately before running. And so I decided I'll go play some Minecraft while I wait for like the water to actually enter my system. And speaking of which, take a sip of your water. It's good for you. You're relaxing in bed. You know what would make you feel a little bit better? A little bit of water. Think about how privileged you are to have water. I mean, I'm not saying nobody has water, because, I mean, we live in 2026 right now. A lot of people have water, but not everyone does. And you should kind of be a little bit grateful for the fact that you just, anytime you want, I mean, I guess I'm being a little bit presumptuous, but you probably have pretty good access to some water right now if you're watching this video. And it would be silly, it'd be almost immature to not take advantage of that resource. You know? This is actually something I was thinking about the other day. It's an interesting thought experiment, kind of. I don't know if that's what you call it, but I was thinking, just a pure hypothetical, which person out of these two is more immature? Okay, so it's a cashier, right? And this cashier gets it's like let's say like a TikTok person walks up to them, and this TikTok person is like one of those people that donates like does like $100 tip or whatever to get their reactions and film it on TikTok or whatnot. But let's call $1,000 a big bunch of money, right? And so this TikTok person walks up and they're like, I want to give you $1,000. Which person is more immature? The cashier that says, "Oh no, I can't take this. No, I can't take this," and eventually kind of like fights it for a while, but then eventually takes the money. You know, it's a sweet thing. They're being like, "Oh no, I don't need this. Like you should give it to someone who needs it." But like the TikTok person is being really, really adamant. They're like, "Oh no, take it. I promise it's okay." Right? Who is more immature? The person who's like, "Oh, I can't take this," or the person who just says, "Thank you"? The person who just takes the $1,000, no questions asked, and just says, "Thanks." I wonder who's more immature. Me personally, I came to the conclusion that the person who hesitates a bunch and is like, "Oh, I don't need this, whatever," is more immature. And that's not to say that it's a bad thing that they're doing. Just to say it's a little bit underdeveloped. It's a bit, like, it's a bit of... When I think of immaturity, I think of you just have like a lack of experience in the world, right? And if I'm going to put this whole situation into context, this TikTok person, whether they're a good person or not, is giving you $1,000 of their money. And very clearly, they have already come to terms with losing that money. If it means that they get a video on TikTok or, whatever. This person has already come to terms with the fact that they're not going to see that money ever again. They're completely cool with that, and they've decided, I want to give this cashier some money. $1,000, make their day better. Or, get a good video. Whatever, right? Maybe they're not a great person, but who cares? I thought that the person who hesitates a bunch is a bit more immature. Because, again, this TikTok person has come to terms with the fact that they're not getting that money back, and they're okay with that. And you're sitting there... Again, it's not a bad thing to, like, refuse money, but I think you're sitting there kind of like a buffoon, refusing $1,000 for a little bit, only just to like later be like, "Oh, okay, I guess I'll take it." It's like, what changed in your mind? Was it that, you eventually realized, oh, I do like money? Did you eventually kind of come to the terms like, this guy's being adamant, it's better if I just take this money and get the TikToker out of my face? Do you not like the TikToker being there? He's giving you money. Why don't you like him? Whatever, right? But the person who just says, "Thank you," takes the money. Now my day is better. I think that shows... Now, okay, not in every scenario, because sometimes it could be like a kid who's just like, "Thanks for the money, bye," right? But an adult who just says, "Thank you," I think has thought about the things that I was, kind of outlining. This TikToker has clearly parted ways with this money already, and they're willing to give it to you. Who am I to pretend like I don't like money? Everyone likes a little bit of money, especially like a lot of bit of money. $1,000 is a pretty big amount of money. Everyone likes money. And I know I like money. I've already come to terms with that. And I know that this person is willing to give me their money. I would like that money. I think the most mature decision is just be like, okay, yeah, thank you. What do you think? Oh, wait, don't talk yet. Clear your throat. Get some water. Drink it up a little bit. Swish it around. Did you brush your teeth? You should probably brush your teeth. Ugh. Fucking disgusting breath. yeah, just, you don't have to like comment or anything, but just, what do you think? And also, maybe, how do you define immature? Because that's kind of a loaded question. Who's more immature, the person who hesitates or the person who just says thank you? It's kind of like, it's not as simple as that, right? But if you had to boil it down to such a simple sort of, you know, a binary option, immature or mature, which one is more mature? What does it mean to be mature? All that, right? Again, you don't have to leave a comment, but I would enjoy reading your comment if you put it. I'm curious what you have to say. You know, your mind works differently than mine, and I think that's beautiful. I love the way your mind works. And it'd be very interesting to me to hear how you go about that problem. Problem? I don't know if problem is the right word. Dilemma? I don't know. Just the choice. It's just a choice. It's just a choice at the end of the day. There's no consequences. You know, no one's gonna hate you because you think that. I'm not gonna hate you just because you think that the person who just accepts the money is more immature. I just think it's kind of interesting. And maybe it's not that difficult. Maybe I have like the exact right answer and everyone's gonna agree with me. Or maybe I don't. That's the beauty of, what do you call it? Autonomy. The fact that everyone is in control of their own actions and choices. Speaking of autonomy, and everyone being, what a W segue by me. Speaking of autonomy, have you seen Obsession? The movie Obsession? I don't watch that many movies in theaters. I really don't. But it's summer and whatnot. I've been doing a lot of stuff just by myself, going out, you know, hanging out with myself, having a good time. Obsession was fantastic. It was so freaking cool. These cows are so freaking loud. Obsession was such a cool movie. I thought it was fantastic. I have had a hard time trying to like think about a flaw. Because genuinely, I can't. I can't think of a problem with that movie. It's just so freaking well done. I think part of what makes it well done, and there's not going to be any spoilers if you haven't watched it, is how simple they kept the entire movie. The entire movie, I forget the name of the director, Curry Barker, something like that? Curry? I know Curry is definitely like his name, so I'll just say Curry. His whole thing was he wanted to dive into how far humans could go, into the idea of, what do you call it? Codependence. I think that's what he said. You know, how far could a human go, like, with the mindset of, I can't live without this other person? And the medium he chose to explore that kind of idea was with what if your wish came true, or careful what you wish for type of idea. Where if you could wish for anything in the world, you know, the main character of Obsession wishes for this girl to be obsessed with him. And this girl ends up being the manifestation of that codependence idea. What if you literally could not live without another person? How far could a human go based off that? And I love those kinds of things, because if you didn't know, something, a little tidbit, a little fun fact about me, I'm a human. And so, I just find it interesting to think, like, how far could a human go? And the movie has nothing, like, supernatural about it, other than the fact that the wish comes true. Because the idea is, like, the world just bends itself to your wish. Whatever needs to happen for your wish to come true, happens. And it's not like a trick thing where it's like the genie, where you're like, I wish for $1 million, and you get 1 million deer or whatever, you know, or like doll hairs, or, you know, whatever. The wish just comes true. So there's no trickery. They're not lying to you when like they're trying to explain the film to you. What I mean by that is like the film doesn't lie to you. The wish just comes true. And now all of a sudden, the girl, Nikki, is absolutely, completely, like, obsessed with the main character. His name is Bear. And because of that, and she's not superhuman, nothing like that happens. She's still just a human. The only supernatural thing is like the wish came true. How far would a human go under the idea that I could not live without this person? How far can Nikki go operating under the circumstances that I can't live without Bear? I love Bear. And the whole kind of thing of the movie is that like Nikki is not really like, you know, when she is, you know, before the wish, she's not really like in love with Bear. She, you know, they're friends, they're great friends, but they're not like in love like that. But Bear just kind of has a crush on her. You know, he thinks that she's really cool, he thinks she's really pretty, he wants to ask her out. And the director kind of left it open-ended because the movie is supposed to be from Bear's perspective. So the audience kind of doesn't actually know if Nikki likes Bear or not. It's kind of just like, you're not supposed to know. Because again, the movie's from Bear's perspective. And he doesn't know. I lost my train of thought. Back to autonomy, right? That's what got us in here. The idea is like, when he makes that wish, the only thing that changes about her is that she just loves Bear. Because that's the wish. The wish is, I wish Nikki loved me more than anyone else in the world. Boom, he makes that wish. And that's the only thing that changes, is now she just loves him more than anything else, but she doesn't like him. She doesn't all of a sudden think he's cool, think he's like really funny, think he's all this. She just loves him. And you know, you'll see these things on like TikTok or Instagram or whatever, people talking about how like she'll snap in and out of like the spell or whatever. Sometimes she'll come back. I don't think that's the case. I think it is genuinely just like she loves Bear, and that is always true because that's the wish. The wish comes true. And those parts where it kind of seems like she's snapping, I forgot I named this Leather Factory. The part that seems like she's like snapping in and out of like the spell is really just like she still loves Bear, but now she's feeling like, you know, she also hates Bear because Bear like did this to her, removed her autonomy. And because it's a horror movie, some pretty horrific things happen. And after one of the most horrific things in the movie, she says, shh, Bear, you wanted this. You wanted this. You wanted this to happen when you made your wish. You wanted this to happen. And it's crazy because like, I can't go into like the details of what happened because I really don't want to spoil the movie. I think you should watch it. I think it's great. It's just interesting seeing how like this girl who loves him, right? Because that's what the wish did, made her love him regardless of any other thing. She just loves him. This girl who loves him is also like doing these horrific things because she kind of hates him, right? And not just kind of hates him. I mean, what if you removed all the autonomy from someone? They'd probably hate you. And it'd be a completely fair reaction to hate that person. One thing I don't like about seeing people's reaction to the movie on TikTok, I was gonna do something, I forgot what I was gonna do. Charcoal. One thing I don't like about people's reaction on TikTok and stuff is people spamming comments with, guys, Nikki was the victim. It's pretty obvious when you watch the movie that Nikki's the victim. You know, the girl that he puts the wish on. It's a very obvious thing. But what I don't like is that people on TikTok are saying it like they just cured cancer. Like they just came to the most profound conclusion known to mankind when they figured out that Nikki was the victim. Like, yeah, you know. And it kind of ends up being that Bear's kind of a bad dude. I mean, it's not like an end up thing. Again, I think this is a pretty obvious theme in the movie. Because, like I said, the idea is Bear with his wish, which, by the way, he didn't think that the wish would work. Because when you wish, all these movies kind of have like a theme where when you make a wish, you don't really expect it to work. And then when it does work, it's like, whoa. But Bear made his wish, not really thinking it would do anything. But when it did something, and it did something bad to Nikki, a big theme in the movie is that he doesn't really try to undo that. You know, because Nikki becomes like a shell of her former self, like barely even still herself. But Bear really doesn't try to fix that. Because she loves him. He got his wish granted. And there are just moments where like he's really into it, to put it, you know, briefly. So it's interesting watching it. Especially you don't watch it from an omniscient point of view. You watch it from Bear's perspective. There are some shots that are from Bear's perspective. Or excuse me, that are from like a kind of all-knowing perspective. There are some shots, but like it's like barely any. It's a really cool movie. It's just I've never seen something so simple brought so like profoundly to the screen. Because I feel like a lot of movies will try to complicate their stuff. Like The Backrooms, for instance. I heard a lot of people say it's just complicated for complicated's sake. I didn't watch it, but if I'm gonna take other people's words for it, other people being like my sister who watched it, you know, it's just not fun to watch a movie that's complicated just to be complicated. I do get like having a mystery and whatnot. That's like, you know, it doesn't hold your hand the entire way. It makes you kind of think for yourself. I can appreciate that, but when a movie tries to get complicated just because it wants to be complicated, I kind of check out. I kind of just like don't care. Same thing with like Five Nights at Freddy's. Like Five Nights at Freddy's, those games are unbelievably complicated. There's so much just, there's so much vomit of lore everywhere. And it kind of, I don't know. Complicating things just is not always good, but the Obsession, it is just like basically 3 core ideas. It's like, how far can codependency go? Like in humans. And then, what if your wish came true? And that's kind of, actually that's it. I was gonna say 3, but I can't think of a third one. It's like, it really is just that. It's like, your wish just comes true. No, you know, no bullshit. Nothing like that. It's just, boom. Your wish comes true. And, you know, maybe you should have thought about it a little bit more. I don't know, be careful what you wish for. But of course, I've also seen some people criticize Bear's wish. Some people are like, if I was Bear, I would wish for 10 seconds of like confidence to ask Nikki out instead of making her love me. And like, I get that, but also Bear had no idea that that wish was gonna work. it was like a desperate call from him. It was like, I guess what like, it's, I mean, make a wish right now. Do it. Make a wish. It didn't come true. I'm gonna be that guy who breaks your childhood. Your wishes don't come true. So like, what right does Bear have, or I guess not what right, but why would Bear have the insight that his wish was gonna come true? It happens, okay, this is like a teeny tiny spoiler, but it's not really. It's a funny moment in the movie. If you've watched the movie, it's a funny moment. There's a point where this guy wishes for $1 billion when someone wants him to wish for something else. Someone is like, please, I need you to wish for this. I need you to wish for this. Open this up and wish for it, please. And the dude's like, I'm not gonna like, dude, do you need help? Like I'm not gonna just like wish for, you know what? I wish for $1 billion. And then he gets $1 billion. And there's just like this moment of realization in the movie where it's like, oh no. Like, he could have done like a good thing. He could have wished, basically this wish would have like fixed the entire movie, if I'm being honest. Maybe not the entire movie, but like it would have fixed like the main problem. But this guy chooses, I wish for $1 billion. And no one's criticizing him. You know, no one's saying if I was him, I would have not wished for $1 billion. I would have wished for blah, blah, blah. Right, I need an axe. Because it's a funny moment and everyone kind of understands he didn't know that the wish was going to work. But people forget that Bear had no idea that the wish would work at the beginning of the movie. There was no way to know that that wish was ever going to come true, because why would it? If no other wish in any other part of the world has ever come true ever, why would his come true? And so, like, people will analyze his wish as kind of like a super misogynistic thing. And well, to a certain extent, I agree. But for the most part, I'm on the side of like, he had no idea that this was going to work, let alone be so damaging. So I'm not a huge fan of people who criticize his wish, because it's a rather harmless thing to be like, I wish that person loved me, you know? Especially if you don't know that the wish is going to come true. Actually, especially if you're, you know, hedging your bets. Not hedging your bets, I don't know how to phrase that. Especially if you're like committed to the idea that it won't work. Like, why would it matter what you wish for? You know, I could wish for something really horrific right now. It's not going to come true. But if it does, you can't blame me, because I had no clue it was going to come true. Like, I could wish for World War III. That one kind of did come true. But, you know, I could wish for World War IV. World War IV. Oh, see, it didn't come true, guys. Anyway. To wrap that a little bit up, like, I think you should watch Obsession. And also, I don't watch that many movies, but I especially don't watch that many rated R movies. And Obsession is rated R. And God, I need to watch more rated R movies, because they are so freaking cool. It's just nice when a director has no, like, censor. Right? Because in stuff like the Marvel movies, those are appealing to, like, kids and whatever, so they don't really get the liberty of, like, being able to show, like, a cool thing because maybe it involves a bit of blood or a bit of gore. And it would be really cool to show it, but they just can't show gore because it's not rated R. I don't know what Avengers movies are rated, but they're definitely not rated R. But getting to watch a rated R movie where the director just has full ability to just like, oh, I want to show this on screen. I want it to be cool. Like, yeah, dude, I gotta watch more rated R movies. Because I just want to see more cool stuff. And I told my friend that. I was like, I need to watch more rated R movies. And he was like, Is this because of the sex scene? I was like, no. Like, come on. This is stupid. Called me a gooner. Oh, I forgot that there's this big cave here. Yeah. Make sure you drink your water. You know, maybe now you're a bit more relaxed. Maybe you're slouching in your chair or comfy in your bed, or maybe on the off chance that you're asleep, wake up right now, drink your water. But if you are awake and you're up to it, I promise it'll be nice. Take a sip of water. Also, something I want to say. I like how I was like, I'm gonna wrap up the Obsession. I'm done talking about it, but I'm not. It's such a cool movie. But not talking about the movie anymore. The girl who plays Nikki is unbelievably pretty. And there were moments in the movie where I was like, man, why would Bear wish for this thing to happen to this girl? You know, sometimes you're like, oh, you know, it's such a bad thing to happen to her. But then there are some moments where you look at her and you're like, I understand why he chose this girl. She's unbelievably pretty. And also, like, I love that they didn't, well, I mean, it was a small budget film, so they really couldn't, but they didn't use any, like, gigantic actors in their movie. Which, like, I need more of that. Because as good of an actor as, like, Denzel Washington is, or, you know, Andrew Garfield, like, these are some great actors. You can't help but, like, see their other work in them. And it's a hard thing to dodge, I guess. It's a hard thing to avoid. Because, you know, if an actor is really good, you'd want the best actor in your movie, right? Like, that's a no-brainer. But the problem is, the more movies that the person's in, and the better at acting they become more and more famous because they're in more movies, and they're better actors, so people like them and they become more famous. And you end up kind of just like, I don't know, like turning everyone into like The Rock, right? I don't think The Rock is that great of an actor, but he's everywhere, you know? It's hard to deny that, like, he's really, really famous and really successful. Let's see. Do I have more leaf litter? I was gonna split it up across all the furnaces, but I don't really care enough for that. So I really like that I didn't know any of the actors in this movie, but they're all fantastic actors. Especially the girl who plays Nikki. I think her name is like Indy N something, Navarette-ish. I think it's something like that. Navarette. She's a fantastic actress. And she's, you know, I didn't know her. Apparently she was in Superman and Lois. And I might be wrong about this. I think she was in 13 Reasons Why as well. I didn't watch either of those, so, you know. Yeah, it's just nice to have, I don't want to say no names, but, you know, I don't recognize these people. They haven't been in all the movies I've seen before. Like, similarly in Oppenheimer, I think that was the last, like, best movie I've seen since, or how do I phrase that? That movie was rated R as well, wasn't it? I gotta watch more rated R movies. Oppenheimer. I think that's like the last best movie I've seen before watching Obsession, if that makes sense. Like all the way back then, that was the best movie I'd seen in a while, and now it's been topped by Obsession. But in Oppenheimer, Robert Downey Jr. plays an incredible role. He is outstanding in that movie. But I can't help but just see Iron Man. You know, I can't help but hear Iron Man. And that's not to his fault. He does a great job in that movie. He is fantastic in Oppenheimer. I think he won an... I don't know what the thing is. It's not a Grammy. An Oscar? I don't know what the acting one is. I think he won an Oscar for that movie. Because he's fantastic in it. But I just couldn't stop thinking, like, that's Iron Man. you know? Did you have any kind of similar ideas about that? Make sure, if you still have any water left, you drink it. Take a sip. You don't gotta take a big gulp or anything, just enough to feel the cool water on your mouth, on your tongue, against your cheeks. Enough to satisfy. You see any good movies recently? If you watched Obsession, or you, get ready for the pun, you've never heard it before. Are you obsessed with the movie Obsession? Thank you, I'll be here all night. Because genuinely, like, I watched the movie, and I spent an embarrassingly long time scrolling through TikToks about the movie that night. And it's also kind of because I couldn't really sleep. I was a little scared. It's a scary movie. It's a horror movie, right? It's because the problem is, well, not the problem. Their success in scaring me comes from the fact that there's a scene in the bedroom that's like really scary. And it's like the first scary scene of the movie, kind of. And I couldn't, when your brain kind of sees shapes in the dark and you don't really know what's happening. Like, that was happening to me all night. I was like, oh gosh, what's happening? I'm not sure how I feel about the red, the crimson planks, but I'm gonna continue with it. And I'm gonna change this to be more of a sloped roof. Oh, for some reason I thought I needed more slabs because I was sloping it, but it takes up the same amount of wood to slope it. And then after this I'll probably be wrapping up the video. So just relax. Take a sip of your water. I don't really know what to put in this vault that I made. The password protected vault. Should I put like... Oh, wait, wasn't I gonna... Oh, well, it's too late now. I was gonna say, wasn't I gonna put my nether portal in here? But I kind of don't want to move the portal. And I was also thinking Maybe I could put my enchanting room in there. I wouldn't mind it. And as the sun sets and the fireflies come out. Oh, that was not right. As the sun sets and the fireflies come out, and it gets really dark, the roof is just about complete. And I'll leave it at this level, because I don't need it to be super pointy. Not my favorite design, but it's okay. Oh, I definitely need torches in here. I kind of want one last place to put a torch, but I don't know if I should put it here. I'll just boop, boop. Yeah. Who knows? This could be my new house, for all I know. Well, lots of cleanup today. I didn't really get much done. If I'm being honest, I don't even really know what I did. I think I just mined a bunch of wood today, didn't I? Not too mad about that. Oh, and I filled this up with water, and I put a bunch of fireflies. Oh, I love the fireflies. So yeah, as the sun sets, well, the sun has already set. I'm gonna call it there. Thank you for watching if you did. If you liked it, I'm glad you liked it. I'll be posting more of these videos, but I don't know how frequently. I would love to be posting like a couple times a week. Ideally, daily, but you know, some things get in the way of that. I'll try not to take another 10-day break. But thanks for watching. You know, let me know. I don't know if I'd call them answers, but your answers to like the questions I posed. Do you think like the maturity and the cashier and the did you watch Obsession, or if you just want to say hi, okay with that. If you got any water left, I would recommend that you finish it. And yeah, bye bye.